best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway, we're going to get a lot done.
The man is a complete dunderhead, an idiot. Oh my goodness. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel, folks, where we're going to talk about what is going on. It is hit the fan out there. It is outrageous what is being done. Okay, we're going to lower inflation. Big news of the day. We're going to spend almost $1 trillion, and that's going to lower inflation. We're going to pump another $1 trillion into the economy, and it's going to lower inflation. I want to go to that school. No, I want to go to that bank. I want that to be my bank. I'll say, hey, let's lower inflation. Let's lower interest rates. Just give me lots of money. I think that'll work great, right? Give them a little Rodney Dangerfield. That'll work great. Hey, yeah. Okay. All right. Welcome to the world's most depressing joke satire channel on the planet, the Prepared Mind channel. I hope you've got food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and your means of self-defense. I'm calling this the SHTF roast, and with good cause. That's why I chose the introduction and disclaimer with Biden just freaking losing his place. No one in Washington, D.C. knows what is going on. At the White House, in Congress, at the Federal Reserve, in the Pentagon, nobody seems to have their head squarely on their shoulders. So, let's start with Russia's roast of camel toes. Folks, the Russians just completely put her on ice. Remember the other day when Camel Toes came out and said, my name is Kamala Harris, and I'm a woman. I identify as that, and my pronouns are he and she, or she and her, and I'm wearing a blue suit. Remember that dumbass shit? You will not hear me, seriously, folks, ever introduce myself as John the Prepared Mind, and I am a male. I identify as one, as well as having a cock, and my pronouns are fire hydrant and giraffe. You know, and give me a break. So, Kamala Harris said that her pronoun is she, and that she is a woman. This is a quote coming from Russian Senator Alexei Pushkov. He posted it, folks, on the internet. Kamala Harris said that her pronoun is she and that she is a woman, in case she is not identified with one of the countless genders that have bred in the U.S. over the past 20 years, from the so-called queer to downright fairy tale creatures. So now we are in the know. The most intelligible statement for the entire period of her vice presidency. Roasted her. Folks, this is what our economic, this is what our military, this is what our monetary adversaries think of our leaders in the White House. They think they're morons. Her introduction of herself, like a third grade imbecile on the woke transport train, went right to our enemies and let them know exactly how stupid they are. And yes, folks, this statement was disrespect. Kamala was disrespected with cause, right? Kamala is in line to be either president by the 25th Amendment, a banana peel, or a stroke, or she may become the Democrats' #1 pick for 2024. The world waits. The world laughs at Washington, D.C., and the Democrats, and all these idiot wokesters. Why are they laughing? I'll tell you why, folks. Because they are puppets of the globalists, the real power brokers, the real bankers, and everyone knows it. They're mouthpieces, and nothing better than that. Expect more disrespect. What do you think China is thinking? They're like, Joe Biden, let's see what can happen to Joe. Joe can slip on banana peel. Joe can fall down staircase. Joe can have a stroke, or Joe could just be dismissed, right, under the 25th Amendment. That's what can happen to Joe. And then they're going to get Kamala. I don't think that the Chinese, folks, the People's Liberation Army, I don't think that Xi Jinping is going to give a whole lot of, well, give a shit factor to Kamala. Just don't expect it. All of this happening, folks, all of this happening on the heels of something really big today. Let's go to the part of our brain that thinks about the active war in Ukraine. Now, I'm not going to talk about Vogue magazine doing a shoot with Voldemort Zelensky, the world's shortest leader. I don't know if he's actually the world's shortest leader, but this guy barely came up to Nancy Pelosi's height. Can you imagine what he would look like standing next to me, that little worm? You know, I'm kind of 6'6"-ish and kind of large. I would love to stand next to this little punk and give him a little bit of my mind. But Ukraine, folks, not their Vogue shoot. Ukraine has destroyed a bridge. It has destroyed a key bridge that the Russians and the civilian population use. They destroyed this bridge with U.S. supplied weapons, the HIMARS systems. And it's trying to take back Kherson, Kherson. They're trying to take back a city by destroying a bridge. Makes a lot of sense to me. Now, Russia has intentionally avoided senseless destruction outside of the war zones, right? Labeling the war special military action, you know, rather than a destroy everything, bomb everything into the ground action. Russia has not bombed Kiev. Russia has not attacked Western Ukraine. Russia has not gone and bullied and murdered civilians as much as the Ukrainian government has pretended, as much as the media has tried to say that atrocities are being committed left and right. If that was true, folks, the world would be outraged, but the world hasn't bought it, thankfully. So now we have this action. Zelensky, at the request and the will of NATO and Europe and the United Kingdom and the US government, may have just caused immense pain to come down on the people of Ukraine. Folks, expect Russia, whether it's Sergei Lavrov or whether it's Putin himself, expect Russia to address this event, this taking out of a civilian bridge. Expect them to address this and quite possibly respond with force in a way that will outrage Ukrainians. But who can they blame? Who will they be able to blame, folks? Who will the Ukrainian people be able to blame for the actions that Russians now take? Do they blame Russia for responding in kind? You know, hopefully no people were killed. You know, we're supposed to worry about every life that's lost. Unless you're Voldemort Zelensky and you just keep sending and sending and sending your troops to the front to be slaughtered and then scream, this isn't fair, we can't fight, right? And people on the Ukrainian military quitting left and right. Ukraine citizens going to the Russians, accepting the offer of becoming Russian citizens and getting a Russian passport and being protected by the Russians. Do you think Zelensky is really loved by the Ukrainians when his own military abandons, folks, deserts, they quit? They show their faces, they tell their story, and they quit. They're like, we're not doing this. There's no food, no support, no weapons, nothing. They're really not fighting for the freedom and liberty of Ukraine, folks. They're fighting for the war machine that wants to cause more conflict. That is SHTF, folks. Sadly, that's not a comedic roast the way Kamala got. It's not comedic. In fact, there's really not a lot in this that's funny other than laughing at the idiots in DC. But the people of the world are in pain. I just described, well, the inconvenience caused by taking out a bridge. Folks, the Russian military will come in. They will engineer, because that's what militaries also have. They blow up shit and they engineer shit and fix shit. They will put bridge repair tracks over the missing piece and get that bridge back in service. Now, in Germany, folks, the city of Hanover is shut off its hot water. No more hot water in the city of Hanover. Why? Because Russia has reduced the gas supply. And apparently, again, have reduced it. Well, they've been reducing it ever since. They have tried sanctioning Russia, punishing Russia, and they've got it down to about 20%. And now they're starting to shut off cities. Now, unlike the United States of America, where we individually have hot water heaters, apparently in Germany and parts of Europe, the city supplies hot water to homes. Well, that would be nice, but I'm sure they pay for it, folks. We all pay for everything. And now, the people of Germany are going to pay again for their political leaders, their very poor mistakes. Elections have consequences, folks. They do. And politicians, they don't care what happens to the people. No, they don't. They pretend they want votes, they want money, they want people to obey them, but they don't really give a shit. Because if they did, they wouldn't be telling the people of Germany, well, wear a sweater to stay warm. You're going to have no heat this winter, and you can go down to some common areas within your buildings and we'll supply heat there. Oh, by the way, you're not going to have as much food and we're cutting fertilizer. Oh, and by the way, you'll be eating bugs. You'll own nothing and you'll like it. Is that the world you envision for yourself, your children, grandchildren? Unbelievable, folks. These people really are incredible idiots. Now, this is the Q&A and the monologue session, right, for all of us. Get your questions into Jolene. There is so much going on, folks. So much going on. Now, I want to bring a little more humor back into the conversation. But first, I want to remind everyone on YouTube, hit the like button, thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure it says subscribed. And then, of course, share that internet address and get the message out. People need to wake up before they get the fire under their ass and they get roasted. Now, speaking of roasting, Sebastian Gorka, a very interesting intellectual type guy, came out and basically tweeted a very funny quote and said, the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, is a, ready for it? Vindictive meat puppet who doesn't run anything at the Department of Justice. Now, that's quite interesting and also quite telling. Does he really not run anything at the Department of Justice? Well, he is a political appointee of President Xi Biden. He is the Attorney General, which is the highest law enforcement officer of the land, just short of the President of the United States. But to claim he doesn't run anything at the Department of Justice, that's quite interesting. You see, Merrick Garland can be replaced like that by the president. But everyone else in the Department of Justice is what? They're lifelong political appointees. They're bureaucrats. So a big question is, will a conservative president, whether it's Kerry Lake or DeSantis, or even the venerable bad guy, the mean tweeter himself, President Donald J. Trump, will they be able to clean house? I think it's a question worth thinking about. A question worth thinking about. Now, I have this question. While we're going to do some roasting, hey, Biden, hey, Democrats, you love to pretend you're for the working man. Every move, folks, every move Biden has made is intentional. There's no accidents. He didn't say, let's flip a coin and see if we keep the Keystone Pipeline open or shut it down. He didn't like flip a coin and go, oh, yeah, well, I guess we'll just shut it down and see what that does to the economy. There's no guesswork here. This is all intentional. Why not own it? Why doesn't Biden own it and come out and say they wanted to punish the rich and save us from the climate crisis and destroy racism by giving us all inflation, higher food prices, skyrocketing fuel prices, lack of baby food formula? Why? Why won't they come out and just admit all their incompetence? Why not own it? Well, because that is so far out of the realm of believability, right? But they're just forced instead to bald-faced lie and change the definition of words. Really? I mean, the only thing more outrageous than what they're doing is if they actually told the truth. Isn't that crazy? Absolutely crazy. But they can't tell the truth. They have to keep lying to us. They're looking, folks, right in the camera. And they're lying to our face, whether it's Karine Jean-Pierre, right? That little, what do I want to call her? She's like a troll doll, right? Standing there as I don't, what does she even have? A name, a title? It's incredible. She replaced Jen Psaki, another, raggedy communist, raggedy Ann communist, raggedy red. I don't even want to call them the White House spokesperson, spokeswoman, spokesman, whatever. I don't even want to call, because that's not what they are. They're liars. The president looked right at the camera today and lied. They're just lying, right? That's how grossly wrong the political plan is that we're getting. Their political decisions is the globalist plan, and it's for us, me and you. You think it's bad now, what they're doing, and then just lying, gaslighting us, lying right to our faces. You think it's bad now? Wait 1 year and check back here and see how bad it gets. I know we've got a chance by getting a Republican Congress in there to make some changes. But most of the damage has been done with executive authority right from the White House desk. Oh, yeah. Now, this is interesting. And I wanted to talk to you guys about this. There's a lot of concern over moneypox or monkeypox. Lots of concern, and people are afraid now. They're really pushing the monkeypox, folks. Now, Denise DeWald, medical doctor, MD, she's a doctor, and she has tweeted, once monkeypox is detectable in the wastewater, it's game over for eradication. The sewers are swarming with rats. It will become endemic. We will need to resume universal vaccination against smallpox, monkeypox. Now, folks, she says monkeypox has now been found in the wastewater in San Francisco. Now, if I remember things correctly, if you got cerveza bug, apparently they wanted to swab bungholes in China because it's most found in stool, right? Poo. Apparently our bodies throw stuff away. Yeah, it's called urine and feces. But she's saying, well, it's been found in the wastewater in San Francisco, so monkeypox must be out there. We won't be able to eradicate it. The sewers are swarming with rats. What an incredible picture to paint. The sewers are swarming with rats. And once you get a little bit of monkeypox in the poo, in the big poo stream that goes to the poo sanitation district, it's over. Unbelievable. It takes one person with monkeypox taking a crap to get that down in the sewer. But what they're saying is, the rats are going to get it and the rats will spread it. They become the vectors. They're bad. And of course, they said, well, maybe not the rats. Maybe it's the hamsters and gerbils out there that are going to be the problem, right? Another bit of gay joking going on there, but feces as a mean of spreading, like it has to be the sewers that are the problem and rats. It can't be the anal games played by a certain unnamed community that engages in orgies and doesn't want to stop its orgies and playing its games, right? I'm not buying the spread via wastewater, right? That goes down a pipe into a septic system, carried off to a wastewater treatment facility that completely sanitizes everything and returns the water to the environment. That's what these things, that's why they're a sanitation plant. But she's claiming, folks, that the sewers are infested with rats. I don't know what she's talking about. Sewer pipes are completely enclosed. If she's thinking about rainwater drainage systems, that's not sewers. That's not sewers. But, she's a doctor and she's an expert. So we need to listen to any doctor or expert. Well, as long as they're on the same page as the Biden administration. My recommendation, folks, is don't attend any orgies. There's some great advice. How about that? Now, I'm not a doctor, but if I was a doctor, I might consider that as sound medical advice. In fact, I believe that's what the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros, has said. Is, maybe you guys ought to stop having your orgies. Folks, just the idea, Sodom and Gomorrah, just the idea is good golly. All right. Before I make myself sick, be sure and get your questions into Jolene. Boy, talk about being roasted. Literally, folks, Sodom and Gomorrah, roasted, cooked, turned into pillars of salt. Anyways, this has come up. I talked about a little bit earlier, the Federal Reserve, right? They're like, there's no recession, nothing to see, nothing to worry about, folks, right? The numbers come out today, 2 consecutive quarters with reduced GDP, has been and always had, forever, but that's a recession. In fact, the same man who is Biden's economic advisor today was his economic advisor in 2008. And in 2008, he said, recession is characterized by 2 consecutive quarters where the gross domestic product is in decline. And now he's saying the exact opposite. And get this, folks. The political or politicized Federal Reserve is at the end of its rope, right? The experts are saying, well, not the Federal Reserve experts, but real experts who understand how economies work. Fighting inflation will take Biden's economy into a free fall. This is Biden's recession, folks. It's not just Biden's economy, it's Biden's recession. Biden inherited a strong economy, a low cost for energy, a low cost for food, and he has just destroyed it. Now, what do we mean by the economy is going to go into a free fall? Well, in order to stop the inflation, they're trying to raise interest rates. When you raise interest rates, you raise the cost of borrowing money. Now, in the old days, interest rates were 8%. You want to borrow money, it's going to cost you a lot. You had to have very sound business plans. You had to be very tight with the money and be intelligent with it. You couldn't just throw it here and throw it there, but that's what they like now. Throw that money around, right? Spread the wealth around, if you want to quote Obama. But by tightening now with everyone's, lackadaisical, the current way they like to handle money, they will cause a free fall, a tightening in the economy. People are going to lose their jobs, folks. A lot of people who have, it's kind of jobs that, aren't really necessary. Well, they're going to get rid of them. Expect it. A free fall into the abyss. Question I have for you is, are you prepared? Are you prepared for what is coming? Right? What is coming? Okay. We have so much going on. So much has happened, right? Biden's denials about the economy are 100% lies, folks. We all know it, right? We all know it. There's more, and he's not just lying about the economy, folks. He's lying about his son, Hunter Biden, right? Now, there are even more things being disclosed, revealed, and it's demolishing, folks, the continual denials that President Biden said that he had no knowledge and nothing to do with his son's business interests. It's continuing to be exposed publicly. The mainstream media can't ignore it any more than they're trying to ignore and carry the president's water and say the economy's fine. They're arguing about that on CNBC and Mad Money and Bloomberg, etc. The left is starting to eat itself because, right, there has to be a place, folks, where the comedy and bullshit ends and reality begins. And everyone's being asked, a woman's not a woman, and it's okay to groom children, and it's not a recession, and that's not really inflation, it's temporary, right? We've got Janet Yellen, fossil, right, at the Treasury, telling us how everything's great. We've got Joe Biden, demented fossil. We've got Nancy Pelosi out there who was mumbling through a speech so bad, I just shaking my head. I'm like, what is she saying? She's not saying anything. What the hell? Just what is going on? We've got these ancient fossils with dreams and visions of a socialist America being led, or rather ordered, by a bunch of other fossils like Kissinger and Klaus Schwab and George Soros. Are we starting to see what's going on here? These people have had designs their whole life to bring our country all the way to the bottom, and they're doing it now. And they're doing it so badly, folks, so badly, that the people all see it. And the people in the news are like, you know what? I don't get it, right? Anyways, but before I just go down that track and just start trashing these people, it is now more than 50 House Republicans are calling for Biden to take a cognitive test, basically prove that he can intelligently think, right? I think they're up to 53 or 55, 57. It's incredible, folks. Now, in Wisconsin, an investigator discovered how easy it is, folks, to harvest election ballots by using a smartphone or a simple computer. It is incredibly shocking, folks. It is a cheater's dream. Now, get this. Imagine if you wanted to commit fraud, if you wanted to get ballot after ballot after ballot sent to you, mailed right to your house, no questions asked. Literally, folks, without identification, any proof of any kind, anyone with a smartphone or computer can order a mail-in ballot in someone else's name and have it sent directly to a new address. How many ballots can anyone order? Apparently, anyone can order as many as they want in Wisconsin. Welcome to Cheatersville, Wisconsin, folks. It's a Democrat's wet dream. I couldn't believe this when I read this. The investigator let certain people know, I will be using your name, went on and had their ballots sent to his place. Just like that. They got mailed in. Nobody, right, showed up at the door with handcuffs. How many times can that be done? A dozen? 100? 500 times? Just fill them out, do all the voting, and go drop them, folks, in a box. Go mail them back. I guess all you need is someone's name, maybe their address, their current address, and then you can have everything redirected. Unbelievable. a huge discovery. And they want to say, no, there was never a problem. Not at all, right? Not at all. There's no problems here. Oh, it's so bad, folks. They're having a hard time hiding it. Even PBS, the public broadcasting system, is starting to dispute what's going on. They're starting to dispute, folks, how bad things are in Ukraine, right? The Democrats can't deny it anymore, folks. It's that bad, right? If the House isn't going to stand, the House of Cards, just blow it down fast and move on. It's like, hey, look, squirrel, something else to look at over there. Unbelievable. I tell you what, we are past the 30-minute mark, so we're going to get to your questions. It is time for the Q&A.
Are you ready?
Oh my goodness, yeah. Woo! Welcome back, folks. That was a short commercial break. We got Blue Cord Devil in the house today, and he says he's got a statement about Mitch McConnell. He said, Mitch McConnell got sanctions from one county so far in Kentucky. Think more to follow? Oh, yeah, censors and sanctions. There is a big call, folks, that is starting now, which I think is terrific. Literally, I think it's terrific that we're hearing about something, and I'm gonna tell you what it is. Now, before the Republican election, or I should say the Republican red wave that so many of us are hoping and praying for. The red wave, that is the Republicans taking back the House and taking back the Senate. The call is to get rid of Mitch McConnell and to get rid of Kevin McCarthy, the House Republican leader, because they're not really leaders. They're more like sellouts, right? They attack their own. They push for the status quo. They always love to lose so they can say, well, you know, we got caught. We didn't have the power we need, whatever. They love it, folks. All the while getting that money off to the side, just put on their palm. Good boy, good boy. We need to get rid of them, and people are doing it. People like you are prepping to action, prep to action, right? Call, write, email, carrier pigeon, smoke signals, whatever you've got to do. Let your people in Washington know you want real leadership. You want a change in leadership, not just a change in who controls the House or who controls the Senate, but a change in leadership. McConnell is a fossil. Once again, another fossil. We need him out of there. He represents the old GOP, grand old party, the old Republican Party that sucks up to the Democrats. What has that got us? Has anyone looked around in Washington, D.C.? Sucking up to the Democrats and giving them more power, more government bureaucracy, more control. They never get enough. They don't go away. They don't quit. They don't stop. They're not done. They just ask and demand and then threaten us with more. All right. Great point to bring up. And yeah, I think McConnell's days, now they could be numbered. I sure hope, folks. Now, I do know that there's so many dirty people in D.C., elected officials and bureaucrats alike, that they can't expose too much because America would be shocked to learn how much graft, theft, corruption, glad handing, cronyism goes on. How many people get paid off and bought and are owned because, well, they can be blackmailed. All right, let's do this. Let us move on, if we shall. We've got Latin America preparedness. He says, well, the dementia of Biden is becoming very evident. The incompetence of Kamala has become more apparent. Newsom may be considering a run in 2024. Should Joe Manchin, who has blocked the agenda of Biden, also run? Well, surprise, Latin America preparedness. Number one, Manchin is no longer blocking the Biden. Nope. He rolled over today, folks. He rolled over. Manchin sold out West Virginia and he sold out America. Yes, that is true, folks. It really is. right? He rolled over and helped pass the new Green Deal, right? Trillions of dollars going to be flushed down the toilet, or rather, well, they're going to flush it, and the sewer rats in DC are all going to be down there to gather it. So Manchin won't be able to run. Now, Kamala, I want her to be the president going into 2024, folks. She got 1%, 1%, correct me if I'm wrong, 1% during the Democrat primary race for president in 2020. 1%. She was an embarrassment. She dropped out. They brought her back because, you know, we need to appeal to all of our voting base. Absolute joke. Okay. I want her to be the president. One, I want Biden out of there. I want everyone to see how vacant her mind is and how vacant the entire Democrat Party is. I want them to see that. I want America to see that, folks. I think it's critical. You know, they're talking about Pete Buttigieg. Oh, transportation secretary. He can come back, and he was in the primary also in 2020, folks. And everything he talked about was, you know, just run over or rear-ended, pun intended, right? He couldn't get any traction, or everything about him he's a loser. So Gavin Newsom, do you think the United States of America is ready to elect the governor of California, who has threatened everyone in the state, who has mandated that everyone in the state obey him? Obey him. Obey. Oh, he's so handsome and suave. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's a finely polished turd. He has allowed the most acres of California woodlands to burn ever. He sent California firefighting resources to other states while California burned. He is a pile of shit. A steaming pile, folks. He would be another Justin Trudeau. He would make Biden look like a good policy maker. I would love for Newsom to run and get squashed. There's so much dirt on that guy, folks. Absolutely so much dirt. Okay, let's move on. Whoa, got a little camera issue here. Let me get that back in. Hello, camera. There we go. Yankee Watchdog checks in and says, when do they start calling the State House a sewer? Yeah. Oh, by the way, they also have monkeypox in the Sacramento wastewater stream. That's right, folks. They have some pretty big turd farms in Sacramento. And I guess, well, you know, Sacramento's really, it's an hour or less to San Francisco. You get on I-80 and travel through the North Bay. I mean, if you want, you can take the Golden Gate or take the Bay Bridge. Yeah, there's plenty of orgy material passing back and forth from the state capitol and San Francisco. Bunch of sick people. And something needs to be done about Nancy as well, folks. Nancy Pelosi, 90 proof Nancy Piglosi. She needs to be impeached, literally. She needs to be impeached. Now, former Dallas federal chair, right, the Federal Reserve chairman of Dallas, the former one, says Pelosi, quote, appears to have taken advantage of insider information and helped her husband make some trading deals. So today, her husband, the alleged drunk driver who got in an accident, crashed into a man named Jesus. Right? He's a great trader, folks. Makes all kinds of money on the stock market, and it's been reported and alleged and accused that he's getting insider trading information from Nancy. Today, he sold, folks, sold off all of his stocks that everyone's questioning and took a nice bath, took a loss, according to some. And others said, no. The anticipation of the CHIPS bill made him lots of money. But the federal Dallas chair, former Federal Reserve chairman, said Pelosi appears to have taken advantage. And Congress is now looking at, well, maybe we should make it illegal for, well, congressmen, senators, people in the know, as well as their husband and other family members. They should not be allowed to invest on Wall Street. Now, the way they would go about doing this, folks, is they would say, if you're going to serve in Congress, you just take all of your stocks and you put them in a blind trust. You don't get to manage them. They just sit there. They're independently managed, and you don't get to know what's going on with your stuff until you're all done. I mean, that's what they're supposed to do for the president, right? Anyways, there's problems. Oh, by the way, the connection there, the nexus between Governor Newsom running for president and Nancy is, I believe she's Aunt Nancy, whose daddy was involved in, I think, organized crime in Baltimore. Is that the rumor that I've heard? Yeah. Organized crime, Democrats, Chicago, Baltimore, Sacramento, All right, let's move on if we shall. Who's next, Jolene? We got Gary D. He said, in your opinion, how often do we actually see the real Biden? It's obvious he's using at least one double. One has attached earlobes and one doesn't. Okay, for those of you who are not, let me repeat that. For those of you who are not aware of the claims that Joe Biden has doubles, that is to say, people who look exactly like him, well, almost exactly like him. They're body doubles. They're stand-ins. It's interesting. You could call it a conspiracy theory, but if you look at the pictures of Hillary Clinton standing next to Bill Clinton, she appears to gain or lose height 6 inches at a time. She's 6 inches taller. She's 6 inches shorter. In other words, yeah, there's body doubles for Hillary. Remember when she just completely crashed and wiped out prior to the 2020 or 2016 election? They drug her off to the Scooby-Doo wagon, the mystery machine. And then just a few hours later, she was on her feet and she was outside in front of her hotel in New York City. And a little kid ran up to her and she was all excited. And she didn't look like the evil Hillary, right? Because, I mean, normal people don't have that scowl on their face like Hillary has all the time. Body double. So, yeah, I've seen the pictures of one Joe Biden with earlobes, and I've seen the other one where Joe Biden has no earlobe. It's like, it's just straight. Now, the video of him the other day where they had him and he's blinking and talking, and then the next, they just like cut away and cut back, and his eyes are super round, and his eyes actually look very close together, like it was a deep fake video. A deep fake video, folks. Either that Biden person didn't have the right eyes, or something else was going on and they needed to put some computer-generated eyeballs over his. They were non-expressive. He didn't blink, folks, for well over 40 seconds. I mean, blinking is something we don't have to control. Our body just does it. If you watch me, I'll blink. I don't even have to think about it. It just happens. He didn't blink for over 40 seconds. If I did that, my eyes would get dry, folks. They get watery. They start hurting. You know, you're starting to resist. You're like, right? You can't not blink. He didn't. Question is, why did they need to do that, right? Where is the real Biden? How bad is he? How bad is his dementia? Right? Then he came outside and spoke at the Rose Garden and wore his black glasses, his Walter the Puppet glasses, right? His mirror aviator style glasses. Quite interesting. I thought about the president wearing glasses. The other president I know that wore glasses was JFK. He'd wear them outside, but when he did speeches, he took them off. Because in the world of public speaking, to wear sunglasses makes you a less credible person. Now, I'm not talking about doing our videos and just me and you regular people, but when you're a president of the United States, you don't wear glasses, sunglasses to talk. You don't hide your eyes, your lion eyes, right? Anyways, great topic. I think that there are at least 2 other Bidens. At least. Who's next, Jolene? We got Mikey G. He says, if the government and banks declare a bank holiday, do we get a mortgage holiday? You bet. We all get a mortgage holiday. No. You see, there was a mortgage and a rent moratorium during Cerveza-Bug. But most people didn't think, when this is all over, you got to pay it back. The student loan debt was stalled, but you have to pay it back. They'll have a bank holiday. When the bank opens, you still have, you should have something in the bank. They're just going to restrict your access while they make whatever changes they need to. And by bank holiday, what Mikey's referring to is in the 1930s, the United States of America had a bank holiday. Right? They shut the bank for 3 days, bank holiday. And when they opened it up, people essentially lost 40% of their wealth because gold was revalued. So if they revalue the dollar, okay, they revalue the dollar. Let's say today a dollar is worth 100 pennies. We wake up Monday. They close the bank Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Right? They have a bank holiday on Friday. They open it Monday, and they say, look, you've now got 60 cents. Okay, you've now revalued the dollar. It's now only got the purchasing power of 60 cents. Well, the question I have is, does my auto loan, does my mortgage, does my credit card, do those things all of a sudden, do they go down as well? Or does my debt stay the same and you just take a bunch of my wealth? Well, people don't like that. It's been almost 100 years since they've done that. So the big question is, how can they take our wealth from us? How can they take our wealth from us without making us too crazy all at once? Without obviously stealing it right out from under our noses? Well, the way they do it is through inflation. And they've continued to do that since the last bank holiday. So that the US dollar shrinks in value. The purchasing power of the dollar goes all the way from $1 down to, right now we're at 2 cents. I used to hear from my father when I was young, little 4-year-old kid. Man, when I was a kid, he'd tell me you could take a couple of pennies and you get a big old bag of candy. Right? Today, what'll 2 pennies get you? It won't get you a piece of bubble gum. If you want a bag of candy, a handful of candy, that's going to cost you $5, not 2 cents and not a nickel, right? That's how much the dollar's gone down in value. Now, when I was a kid, it was like a candy bar is 25 cents. Like I said, when my dad was a kid, a candy bar, that was 2 pennies. Candy bar was 2 pennies, and for 5 whole cents, you got a bag of candy. A bag of candy. Now you want to buy a bag of candy, it's going to cost you $10, right? One of those bags of Snickers things you get, right? Bag of candy. Unbelievable. All right. Let's see what you guys want to talk about next. They will take our money one way or the other, folks, either through a bank holiday, inflation, or combination. Be prepared. We got Kathy LeMaster checking in. And she says, y'all have no idea how many people are trying to get funded before the Fed hits with the increase for the prime rate. I'm exhausted. It sounds like, Kathy LeMaster, you're in the real estate business, either as a real estate agent, a lender, maybe you're in title or inspect. Sounds like you're in the game. Yeah, folks, they raised the rate 0.75%. That means everyone's cost of getting a loan is going up. It's going to cost you more. Well, instead of your mortgage being, say, $2,200, it's going to be $2,400, $2,500. You'll be able to qualify, well, for less. Isn't it amazing that some gray-haired old fart can just stand up in front of a microphone, utter some words, and it costs you hundreds of dollars a month? Thousands of dollars a year. That's right. That's how that works. They just screw us over just like that. That, folks, interest rates is a way to take wealth out of the system. Because where does that money go? That extra interest you pay, you pay $2,000 for your house and you pay $500 in interest. That goes into the bank for doing nothing more than saying, well, we got this pile of electronic zeros here, and we're going to transfer some of those zeros and ones over here, and we're going to say we gave them some money. There's no real money. There's no real gold or silver that changed hands. And speaking of silver, folks, speaking of silver, we had Chris P. Bacon and the whole R syndicate on the Sunday nights of the round table. And Chris spent some time talking about precious metals. And a couple people were upset about that because he was saying basically, hey, we're at the bottom. Right? The price has just been hammered down. Well, right now at this very second, the price of silver is sitting at $19.99.5. $19.99.5. What's the big deal? Just today, Thursday, and folks, this week, I think we came off the bottom and it's going up. This is not investment advice. I'm not telling you to buy anything. I just want everyone to be aware. Silver went up in value today, 7.5%, 7.5%. Not in the year, not in the month, not in the week. In one day, the value of silver has gone up 7.5%. People want to get 7.5% on their investments for the whole year. If you had bought silver earlier this week, you'd be up 7.5% already, at least. Interesting stuff, huh? Gold also, folks, went up big today, $36 an ounce. Right? It's sitting at $1,773 on Sunday night. Gold was down close to $1,700. It's gone up almost $70 just since Sunday. What has caused this? Well, Kathy Lemaster knows. The interest rate, what they're doing, what they're saying. Everyone's reading between the lines. Now, there's no guarantee silver is going to continue to go up or gold. But if you've got 50 or 100 ounces of silver, guess what? If the price goes up or down and you look at your stack, you've got 50 or 100 ounces. It doesn't change. You never lose an ounce, right? And so it's a way to hold money. If they have a bank holiday and they shut down the bank and they open it up and people are like, hey, they took 20% of my cash away. You look at your silver, it's still there because you have it. And this claim that, well, you can't protect your silver or your gold. I mean, good golly, who gets to own gold? How do you protect your silver or gold? Well, how do you protect your spouse or your children in the event of thieves and scum and everything else going on in the world? Well, the same way, right? With your means of self-defense, right? Surely your children are more precious and your spouse is more precious than your precious metals, and you protect them. You have them in your house. So if your house is safe for them, shouldn't it be safe enough to keep your silver in your house? You just have to be very creative at hiding it to protect it. Okay, enough on that. Let's move on if we shall. We got Kathleen Master says the repercussion of these forbearance and government assistance funding that is coming due is now causing people to not get funded now for non-pandemic loans. People didn't think this through. Oh, we've got nothing but trouble coming, Kathy. I agree. The consequences, the negative consequences of everything that was done over Cerveza bug, the lockdowns, the mandates, the closing of businesses, government has absolutely shown us it is corrupt and it is wrong. I saw that, Jolene. Thank you very much. They've shown us they're corrupt. They've shown us they're wrong. They've shown us they don't care about us. Now, I care about you, right? You care about me. You guys support what we do here. Every single day, when a commercial comes on YouTube and you let it play all the way through, that helps us. It literally helps us. Letting the commercials play all the way through helps us. Every penny counts at this stage, folks. At this point, Every penny counts. But yeah, the consequences, Kathy, are incredible. The decisions that were made are incredible. The fraud that has occurred is absolutely incredible. And it's amazing. Under the new Joe Biden plan, folks, you know how they're going to pay for everything? New taxes. Even Obama, in his own words, said, well, when you're in a recession, you don't raise taxes. I can't do a very good Obama impression. But yeah, good thinking there, right? You don't raise taxes in a depression. And by the way, I want to say thank you to Michael Brown for a great 556 super chat donation that showed up in Cash App. Down below, folks, in the description, we have PayPal and Cash App, and you can make cash donations to help us. Speaking of, every penny counts. Thank you, Michael, again. He's been a great intermittent donor from time to time, and he checks in and reminds me, you guys are all out there, and I want to thank you for what you do for us, right? It really is, folks, a battle. It is an information war. It's a communication war. It's a psychological war. It's going to be a resource war. Literally, we're going to have a war, folks, over resources. What are resources? Building materials, agricultural materials, products, food, raw mining materials, metals, base metals, everything, folks. Aggregate, rock, dirt, oil. We've got this in front of us. It's an unbelievable war, folks. We also have a social war. It's right in front of us. The war is between lying and telling the truth, between holding our culture, our traditions, our laws as sacred, or the Democrat scumbags throwing it away, just trashing us. Right now, this fight has been engaged. It's being engaged by DeSantis, by Governor Abbott, by President Trump, by all of us. Every day, folks, you can choose to hide in a foxhole, or you can come out and fight like a real person. Free speech, folks, is what I'm talking about. Using your voice. You may not be the most credible person in the world. You may not think you're smart enough. But look at who is saying everything they want. The left. They sound idiotic, but they're loud, they scream, and they won't shut up. They won't go away, and they're getting their way. But now we're fighting back. Look to Governor Abbott, DeSantis. Look to President Trump. Look to Big Marge, Lauren Boebert, Matt Gaetz as examples of what we should do. Right? President Trump announces he is going to sue CNN for repeated defamatory statements. Right? He said they have defamed him and defrauded the public regarding the overwhelming evidence of fraud. Right? You know that intimidation video I play featuring the absolute hideous hags of The View?
I worry it could begin to look like intimidation when it's at someone's doorstep. I'm someone.
It's so funny. So does what Alito wrote. Looks the same way to me. Looks like intimidation. Well, and yeah, it's kind of the same thing. But it all.
Intimidation. Guess what? The View tried intimidating and talking about some conservative youths, and they lied about them, and now they, The View, are being threatened with a lawsuit, a big one. And so they came out. They, folks, have been intimidating as many people as they can. They are now being threatened, and they came out and apologized. Well, I tell you what, don't accept their apology. Sue them anyways. Sue them anyways. They need to be sued. They really do, folks. They need to be roasted on the stand. Who do these people think they are just because they've got a television show? Right? I don't come on here, folks, and tell you the way it is. I come on here and say, here's some information. Do with it what you want. I recommend getting prepared because chance favors the prepared mind. Thank you for supporting us, folks, whether you do it through Cash App and PayPal, whether you do it through YouTube and Super Chats. whether you go to thepreparedmind.club or subscribestar.com. Thank you for all the support you give us. I really appreciate it because it helps us stay right here. And oh, one last thing. It is Thursday. Expect tonight to get the next installment of the Prepared Mind newsletter. It will be emailed out tonight, every Tuesday and every Thursday. And that gives you a chance to see even more information and then also see what we can offer you from the club at a great discount. We have specials that are now coming out. Jolene has negotiated with our suppliers, our affiliates, to help get you prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense plan. Solar panels, body armor, holsters, you name it. We've got it through our affiliates at thepreparedmind.club. Godspeed to all. God bless America, and Semper Fi. I'll see you guys in the morning.